Is Critical Role viewership finally on the way back up as the end of Campaign 3 is in sight? And just how high have the views climbed?
I gotta pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
Critical Role Campaign 3 has had to deal with long bouts of slumping viewership, especially compared to the massive pandemic boom that pushed Campaign 2 and the Mighty Nein to record heights. But has the sometimes divisive Bell's Hells campaign finally turned the corner and seen some real growth in viewership? Why not take a second to hit those like and subscribe buttons? They really help the channel out and we would really appreciate it. And then let's take a look at the numbers and what's behind this sudden resurgence. So first off, there is one place where Critical Role continues to struggle, and that is Twitch. With even these most recent episodes all peaking between 12 and 14,000 concurrent viewers or so. But that stat is very misleading once you realize that prior to Beacon TV going live, the streams in May and April were all topping out pretty similarly between 14 and 15,000 viewers as well. In fact, their biggest Twitch episodes since the beginning of the year, their two biggest episodes since the start of the year were episode 99, the start of the Downfall arc, and of course episode 92, the aftermath of the deaths of FCG. So if you consider that Beacon TV is effectively a direct competitor to Twitch, with its similar subscription-based streaming perks and services, and at the time of me writing this, over 4,000 subscribed members of Beacon were online in their Discord with at least double that offline, that means that Twitch viewership is remaining steady despite potentially losing around half their regular viewers to Beacon, which shows you just how strong Campaign 3's viewership is finishing. The other big movement of viewership, besides just to Beacon, has been to the YouTube stream. In fact, now that the YouTube stream has chat, which was a big perk that Twitch had over the YouTube stream previously, the numbers have been surging. In the last 2 months, Critical Role on YouTube has rocketed past the Twitch viewership, with their YouTube live streams hitting as many as 26,000 concurrent viewers during some episodes, and often doubling the viewership on Twitch, all while thousands of critters are also watching on Beacon. And the VODs on YouTube have maintained their viewership as well, still averaging over 500,000 views in their first month ever since Beacon launched. So YouTube VODs are maintaining their viewership, while the streams have become bigger than ever, all while thousands and thousands of Critical Role fans have shifted their viewing habits over to Beacon, which shows you just how strong viewership has gotten with the end of Campaign 3 in sight. So what has turned around the once stumbling viewership of Campaign 3? It's undeniable that the start and the end of campaigns always have strong viewership anyway, but this trend has been happening for the last several months. So we think it goes a bit beyond that, to Critical Role going back to the well for some classic crowd-pleasing tricks, and Critical Role addressing a major issue that the fans have had with Campaign 3. So let's start with that. Critical Role fans have complained, often loudly and with merit, that it felt like Campaign 3 just had no stakes and no real risk for the party. Every time Bell's Hells got in trouble, some level 20 Vox Machina character would pop up and solve their problems, or revive their dead party members, so it became more and more just a series of cameos reminding people that A, they liked the Vox Machina characters better, and B, there seemed to be no consequences no matter how insane or poor a decision the party made. But that all changed with the deaths of FCG a few months ago.
They make every day a smiley day. And so I just sign off and go.
A real permanent party death suddenly made the cast start to take the game a bit more seriously, and showed them and the fans that if they continued to fuck around, Matt would in fact let them find out. This suddenly made every combat have that edge that Campaign 2 had, where you knew Matt was willing to let a player character die in a fight if the dice rolled that way. And it took a cast that frankly had too many wacky, chaotic characters, the too many jesters problem we've talked about a few times on this channel, and forced them to face some consequences for their bad decisions or risky behavior, which toned down their antics some. That's not to say the show still doesn't have some truly hilarious moments, but it's now all grounded in the fact that the fans and the cast know Matt will pull the trigger on a permanent character death, even if this one may have been at least partially grounded in a medical emergency for Sam Riegel in real life. It gave Season 3 the stakes and the risk it really needed to get fans invested in these characters. The second part of this viewership secret sauce is going back to a Critical Role classic, When in doubt, give Brennan Lee Mulligan a mini-arc. Downfall was one of the most watched set of episodes in Campaign 3 so far, and as Brennan has proven in EXU Calamity, giving him a couple of episodes to bring the history of Exandria to life is an absolute fan favorite. And for good reason. Unlike the earlier Split Party arc, which saw the main characters teleported apart and joined by new characters who then sadly faded out of the narrative after a month or two, RIP Frida and their dream of a life with FCG, Downfall was a great use of guest stars and some regular cast members by making them gods and the literal fabric of Exandria and its past that can't just be ignored or lost in the shuffle the way the characters in the Split Party arc were. With Brennan at the helm and the gods at the very center of the entire plotline for Campaign 3 as the main focus, fans were riveted and it showed in the numbers. It also made the gods, who had been very vague and mysterious despite being the core of this entire plot, seem suddenly very, very real and very, very involved in the storyline. And Critical Role even smartly doubled down by bringing back Abu Bakr Salim as the Archart to reinforce just how integral these characters were to the story and to the fate of Exandria, and to ramp up those stakes even further. Now add in one more classic crowd pleaser, the potential return of Vox Machina or the Mighty Nein to wrap up this season with one-shot episodes, and as we saw for the huge Mighty Nein reunion shows in Campaign 3, the critters will turn out in droves to watch. So a combination of the natural ramp-up as the season ends, Matt Mercer finally inflicting lasting consequences on a party full of manic pixie chaos mongers, and some very smart storytelling decisions like bringing back Brennan and letting him shape the gods of Exandria and their role in the story, have all helped push viewership back up for Critical Role. So now the question is, can Campaign 3 stick the landing? We have the feeling that we're only 5 or so episodes away from the end at this rate. We can't imagine this going on much beyond the Daggerheart Critness live show, so we won't have long to wait. But let us know what you think about Campaign 3, and if these changes have gotten you back to watching again in the comments. And don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons.